Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Amanda Celeste, and I am so excited for tonight's conversation. We have three parents that have experience in navigating breast cancer during this back to school season. So unbelievably excited for this topic. Panelists, please send us your requests right now so we can join.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Nice to see you.
So nice to see you ladies as well.
It's an exciting topic to talk about.
Truly,
It's
truly.
gearing up over here.
Right? It's everywhere. Definitely in the stores. You can't miss it.
You can't.
Hello. Oh
Hi.
my goodness. This is so exciting. And for everyone else that's watching as well, please feel free to share in the comments below where you're joining us from. Who knows? Maybe we're neighbors. But as many of you know, my name is Amanda Celeste, and I have metastatic breast cancer, stage 4. I have 3 children, a newly 16-year-old, 14-year-old, and 11-year-old. How about you ladies?
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen Powell. I'm an oncology nurse practitioner, and I have 4 children. My oldest son is 10. I have 2 twin sons.
Uh-oh. Are you all still there?
Yep, we are.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Karen froze.
Okay.
It's a beautiful freeze frame. It would not turn out like that. Well, while we're waiting for Karen to come back on, Ebony, tell us a little bit. Your diagnosis, your children's ages.
Yes. So my name is Ebony-Joy, and I live in Georgia. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, so 2 middle schoolers. Oh my goodness. And they were 5 and 6 when I got diagnosed. So kindergarten and first grade. And so it has been a whirlwind, but I was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer at 38 years old, and invasive ductal carcinoma, I believe it's called. And so both breasts already 4 tumors. I have an ATM mutation, so I had um, mastectomy, chemo, and the world shut down in the middle of the pandemic. While I was in chemo, trying to do kindergarten and first grade homeschooling and radiation. So, but now we're in middle school, so it is definitely been a journey.
My goodness, yes. Lord help those middle school teachers.
Yes.
Oh, well, welcome. So excited to talk to you about tonight's topics. How about you, Deb?
So I'm Deb, and I'm glad to be here tonight. I was diagnosed with de novo metastatic breast cancer at 37, and I've been living with it for 7 years now. 2 years ago, I was also diagnosed with a second breast cancer, stage 3. The metastatic is triple positive, and the stage 3 is hormone receptor positive. I have 2 kids at home right now. I have my daughter, who's 11. It was her first day of middle school today.
Oh,
And my beautiful bonus son, it was his first day of senior year today. So a lot of back to school stuff happening. But I'm just glad to be here.
oh gosh. Well, welcome. So excited. And oh my goodness, great. Good, good. Karen, you're back. I'm like,
Yes. Hi.
but commenting on
Um,
how like your freeze frame, your hair was perfect. I'm like,
oh, thank you.
oh,
I will, I guess I'll just pick up where I left off. I have 4 children, a 10-year-old son, 8-year-old twin boys, and a daughter who's 3. 1 year ago, right around this time, I was diagnosed with ER positive invasive ductal carcinoma. And then after my final pathology report came through, it was a surprise invasive lobular carcinoma in there as well. So this topic is very near and dear to my heart because as I was going through the treatment plan, just, the kids were gearing up to go back to school. So I'm hoping with myself and these wonderful ladies here, we can, provide some tips and some solace during this crazy time of year.
oh goodness. No, I'm definitely excited to hear all your guys' tips and tricks greedily for my own self as well. But no, I'm just so excited to have this conversation with you lovely ladies tonight, especially during this busy time of year back to school, as all the different stores are showing us with, oh, the pencils are this amount, the pads are this amount. So pretty exciting. So definitely all of our viewers as well, please feel free to share any thoughts, questions, anything via the Q&A. It's the bottom button at the bottom of the screen. Please remember, we are not doctors, so please don't ask for any individual medical advice. We're just here to offer tips and tricks, and just excited to talk about this topic. But you can definitely feel free to share this live with others that you feel could benefit from it, or just show an interest with it. All right, ladies, ready to get crack-a-lacking on our discussion topics?
Let's do it.
All right, perfect. All right, so the first one I know is a pretty crucial one, at least in my brain. It's, how do you decide what or when to tell teachers about your diagnosis?
All right, should I kick things off?
That'd be great.
Okay. So, like I was saying, I was going through a bilateral mastectomy 5 days before the kids went back to school. So on the first day of school, I had the drains in tow and everything. So back to school night was a couple days after that. And just kind of for a preface, my older son is in 4th grade and the twins are in 2 separate classes in 2nd grade. And I did tell them all, but I kind of waited to see when the best opportunity was. So for my oldest son, I was the class mom. So during back to school night, I was very upfront pretty immediately, even just to manage expectations for my schedule with going, into the city for treatment, and what I could provide for the class, at least early in through the school year. My other son, she's a good friend of mine, so I just told her on the sidelines as if, it was me telling a friend. And then third, my other son had like attention issues in school, and I didn't disclose right away, but I got a robust email about 6 weeks into when school started about his attention and him bringing in incomplete homework. And I just felt like that was the perfect time to share what my life was like from the home front. And quite honestly, I really didn't give a shit whether or not I was sending him to school with complete homework. And it was a very human response to a very real situation. And, when you're in that classroom, the teachers see your children for 8 hours a day. So they don't always see that home picture. So really, it's up to you and what your comfort level is with your own health and your own diagnosis met with where your kids are in their learning journey. So I would say that it's very individualized depending on your comfort level and the needs of your children.
Yeah.
You just said so many things that just speak so much to my heart, especially the fact that you said human response. It's so hard, especially when it comes to our children, not hold back. We are their, we're trying to peruse this diagnosis alongside them. So definitely having people that are working with us is so important. So I that speaks volumes. Yeah. How about you, Deb?
So I think living with a metastatic diagnosis has been a little bit different with how I approach the teachers and stuff, because it's been years now. When I was diagnosed, my daughter was 4 years old, so it was easy to tell the preschool teacher. And then through elementary school, I was pretty upfront because my daughter's on a 504 plan. She's neurodivergent, so if she shuts down in class or has a meltdown or something, I want the teachers to know, hey, there's stuff going on at home, and this is what it is. But now that she started middle school, I'm a little hesitant. There's so many teachers, so I don't really know, like, if I want to tell anybody what's going on, unless, again, there's an issue with her in class or something, or if I have to talk to a school counselor. And I usually have let the school counselors know at her previous school and stuff. But I haven't decided for this year yet if I'm going to disclose it or not. But I don't know. I think it, like it was said, that it's, it just depends on your comfort level and what you're comfortable saying and when.
No, and that's hard too, especially with Ebony. I'm going to be interested in hearing yours as well. Middle school, it's like, yeah, do you rock the boat? Do you wait for them to I don't know. What's your take on it, Ebony?
So it looked different when I started, in 2019 because my kids were 5 and 6, right? So I, you know, I didn't know what to do, but then I realized they're not going to see me, right? And so when I did disclose, it was so beautiful because an army of moms and teachers, if it wasn't carpool or gift cards or just, the counselor, I always tear up with this, but like my son was in kindergarten and he would just be worried about me. So the counselor let him come call me during the day. And it's just seeing, and when they would cry and do different things. So to me it was good to share because people want to help, and it's definitely has changed. So I have gone through an IEP and 504 process throughout this, and sometimes I'm like, you know what, I just can't today. I can't with homework, I can't with projects, I can't with lists, I can't with emails. I just can't. I'm struggling over here, and so I have long term side effects. I've been in carpool where they have to come knock on the window because I'm asleep. So I think disclosing is a personal thing. I've met women that don't even disclose to their children or their families, and I respect that. But for me as a mom, I realized that the disclosure opened up a endless amount of help and love coming into my children because I realized I just can't do it all. And if I remember going to a virtual retreat, and I was worried about not being here for them. And the person told me, they said, well, let those people be there for them now. And so that is what I'm like, let those people be for them while I'm here. And I think that's what the disclosure helps ease, even though it's very hard and personal because it's medical. And so middle school, I have not yet disclosed, just because there's so many teachers. I have like 16 teachers to deal with. I'm like, I'm not even emailing them yet. I'm like, I'm done. I used to email everyone and hi, and I like to meet you. And I'm like, let's see if they can figure this out themselves. I'm like, it's a lot.
It is a lot. And that carpool, oh my, that can be a scary place to be. I mean, I would gladly stay in my car. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But a word that you said really spoke to me too about the importance of being vulnerable. That is something that I know I'm personally struggling with, just to allow people to see like it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to show weakness, not weakness in a bad way, but in a, people want to help. And that was some very, very good advice right there as well.
I also like to add too that I think it's an important aspect from our children's perspective to see other people helping because it allows them to see, a different side of yourself as, someone as their mother going through treatment, and also a group of neighbors and friends pulling together to help. And it really is, it's beneficial for our children to see that as well.
Completely. I completely agree with that. Look at us. I just feel like we just need some like
Yeah.
coffee talk.
I wanted to share, just like a little blurb from Carpool, because at one point I felt like the Incredible Hulk one day. And I was like, I was on tamoxifen and I was like, there's just something not right. And so I ended up switching. And that's a medical decision you make with your doctor. But you become very self-aware of your body. And when you're immersed in these medicines and treatment, like, there's times where I just can't get out of bed. So I'm late picking up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, please don't charge me the $50. I'm just not okay. And or just calling people to help, really trying to be that superwoman, right? I laughed at myself when it took 20 people to do the things that I was doing by myself. And I was like, I probably need to slow it down a bit. So just being aware of your body and learning to laugh at yourself and just let things go too is, I think, one of the biggest things I'm learning with this school year. I'm like, the list I did not do at all.
No, it's so hard. Definitely giving yourself grace is, I think, something that everybody has to work on. And I'm definitely going to be taking a note from your book for sure. All right. So, ready for our next question?
Ready?
All right. So, how do you manage questions about your diagnosis that your children might bring home from school?
Great question. So I would say that at the time, my children, when I was diagnosed, they were 2, 7, and 9. And, being in the oncology world professionally, cancer has always kind of been in the background of different conversations. So they always had the word, but I felt as though they never had the definition attached to the word. So, as boys being very visual learners, I showed them a picture of the drain that I was going to have. And we talked through what the purpose of the drain was for. And from there, the word cancer kind of filled in from like the back end. So it was nice to kind of have a broad description and then, attaching a word with it. And I also felt like my daughter was a big part of this conversation too, because she would help me pick out pajamas that had the little pockets in them, and even to this day she remembers doing that. So
Mhm.
I think we have to just embrace where our children at and be transparent with them, because no one knows your children better than yourself. And the more you feel comfortable sharing pieces of your journey along the way, the more layered questions they'll ask as they get older. And things will kind of click like, oh, wait, that was that. And you couldn't do this because you had that. And that's okay, because the conversation is complex, and it is age appropriate. So yeah, it's a challenge, but meeting your kids at that level is really beneficial.
No, I love the fact that you said transparency too, because, we parents, we want to protect our children, but at the same time, being open with them as much as they can within like the realm of their ages and stuff like that, they
Mhm.
learn, they want to be there to help. So,
Yeah, yeah. And also that also opens up a different conversation to allow them, when they go through their own challenges and their own strifes, to feel that there's already a foundation of open dialogue in that sense.
mm-hmm. No, I couldn't agree more with you. How about you, Jen?
Let's see. When I was diagnosed, my daughter was 4, so she didn't have a lot of questions. But what I did was, at the cancer center that I was at, they had a social worker, and that worked with like little kids and stuff. And so I took advantage of that opportunity for them to explain to her, like with the little doll, like what's going on with mom. But as we were saying, age appropriate, as she's gotten older, the questions have changed. And especially 2 years ago when I got diagnosed with that second breast cancer, then she was more alert. She was asking a lot of questions about, the difference between metastatic and early stage. And I didn't even know that she was so aware. Um, and I signed her up for another organization, had a program to support kids with parents with cancer. So I put her in a little virtual program that was like 4 weeks long, and she met other kids and stuff, and they talked about like the science and the definition of what cancer is, and what the cells are doing and stuff. And so, and she's 11 now, so I've even teaching her how to do self checks and stuff like that, to keep the conversation going. But um, I always try to be careful because I don't want to frighten my child. She's very anxious. So I just have to be very careful with how I explain things or how I say things. But she's basically almost her whole life I've had cancer. So, it's nothing new for her. She's used to mom being tired on some days. I have a lot of appointments. But, she just, I don't know. She's 11. It's just, I'm sure that as she gets older, the questions will change again.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And especially with middle school and such like that, maybe it'll make it so that there's even more open conversations. But you've obviously done a great job by looking for those resources, having conversations with her to where she feels comfortable with, who, like I think you said it, Karen, who knows better our children better than us. So
Hmm.
that's always kind of one of
Yeah.
those fun things to work out as a parent. Yeah, how about you, Miss Ebony?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Like my brain is
About that
like,
as well. I'm just like, hold up, chemo brain coming at you. So basically, just how do you plan on managing, or how have you managed in the past, questions that your children might bring home from school about your diagnosis?
I think one of the biggest things that helped me in the beginning was the Reading for Assurance program. It helped explain on their level. Like, I love that it was developmentally appropriate and then reading how it changes. And so, 5 years in now, I think that I still go to a lot of appointments. I just got my port out and I have a scar from that. And obviously, people see me and they're like, well, what's with your hair? And people don't ask as much now because I've been like this now for 5 years. And a lot of people are wearing their hair in different styles. But I think that it's more or less, so there have been some like unfavorable things said by kids that have, made my kids sad about that. So trigger points. And so I think that it's just like working through that. We do therapy a lot. And so it's surprising a lot. We don't end up talking. So kids in therapy, play therapy, literally they just play. So I'm like, we're just playing, but it's good though, because
Mhm.
we do dig down deep. And so we have our family therapists and our individual therapists that help us navigate. And they just went to camp this year, and they talked to kids that also lost parents to cancer. And it was so fun for them. They spent a week um, with other kids that all were impacted by a parent having cancer. And so I think that as they're getting older, I think I'll adapt with them, because they still see me go to all these appointments and they're like, why are you still going to appointments if you don't have cancer? And I'm like, well, it's really no evidence of disease. And they want to make sure that they catch something if it's early. So it's kind of hard to say that, oh, you're fine when you're still going to all these doctors all the time. And then they see me not well. There's times where I just can't get up. And I'm exhausted, or my daughter laughs at me because I'm walking around like the Tin Man, like I need oil with the bone pain. And she's like, Mom, why are you like doing that? And I'm like, everything hurts, but I still got to go. Um, or why am I freezing everyone? I keep it like the Arctic in our everywhere we go. And I'm like, I have hot flashes. So you're just
Oh,
going to have to
yeah.
have a jacket on or a blanket. And so they get to know, and the mood swings, right? I'm learning to adapt to that. But I think as they're getting older, I'm like, again, me not trying to figure this out by myself, right? I'm getting therapists. There's resources out there, books out there, different things that at different ages and stages. So I'm not trying to just figure out this parenting thing by myself and how to navigate this big, big thing called cancer.
Mhm.
hmm No, and you hit another nail on the head when kids are adaptable. I know for me, I always thought like, oh my gosh, my children are on like this island, they're secluded, they're the only ones
Mhm.
going this. And then, the more resources you find, the more different things that you different people you talk to. It's just you're not alone. You have to
Yeah.
search. I know when I was diagnosed after my third kiddo, she was 3 months old, thought it was a clogged milk duct. It wasn't. So my son was 5, my daughter was 4, and then my youngest 3 months. And so, started going through losing my hair, different things like that. And, I just had a G.I. Jane moment where I'm like, screw it. I just go in and
Yeah.
start doing that. And then I brought the kids in and, they just saw me shaving my head. I was like, hey, you want to shave your head? My husband shaves his head. So, it wasn't like a big old, it's like, woo,
Yeah.
okay. So we did that and, so tried doing that. And then I remember my son coming home from school pretty upset, like, oh, your mom's bald, just, I don't remember all the things.
Mhm.
Very traumatic for him. And that's when it was one of those things where it's like, okay, this needs to be a group effort. This needs to be a collaborative effort. Okay, do you want mommy to wear a wig? Do you want me to not, just not wear anything? Do you want me to wear a pirate hat? That's what they called the little bandanas and such. So they ended up wanting the bandanas, the pirate hats and such like that. So, it's one of those things where it's like you feel where the kids are at. Every kid is different, but just globally thinking what's going on in their little brain that we can
Mhm.
we can have.
Mhm.
So just food for thought. All right, next discussion question. So back to school, what we're talking about, it's everywhere. There's no denying school is coming or school has already started. So there's a lot of shopping that has to be done, lots of long lists, lots of suggested items, which we know that they're not suggested. You better come with the Kleenex, you better come with the Clorox. Other going to be, no, I'm just joking, but
Mhm.
suggested normally means please bring everything on the list. What are some tips or strategies that you guys have for tackling the tasks of getting these supplies together?
Yeah, so in my case, I think I needed a total of like 80 pencils, 80 Tarragonda pencils. So I shop wholesale a lot. We are VIP members at Costco because of the amount of food and supplies we go through in any given week. They do sell bulk tissues, and I do find that if I'm giving, there's 9 boxes of tissues that are getting dispersed out, and then halfway through the year they need more. We stockpile from Costco or BJ's a lot. And
Mhm.
also, what's nice is our school has a pre-populated list of school supplies that kind of automatically gets put into the cart. But the issue with that is they have scissors already. We have a ton of Post-its, so I'm removing things from the cart at all times. We keep a close eye on that. And I also think too, like, what does it have to be that exact thing, or can it be another folder that is more cost effective? So we do a lot of swapping out, because if there's a rainbow pack of folders and Gavin needs a red one and there's only green left, Gavin's getting a green folder. And that's one of those things that I feel like, in the undertone of dealing with a cancer diagnosis, you start to not really care about those little nuances. Like, doesn't matter. They're loved, they're fed, they have all the supplies they need, even if it's in the wrong color. You kind of just stop caring.
Oh, that's so the truth. And I never even thought about Sam's Club or Costco. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
That's a great idea. It's like a one-stop shop there for everything.
Yeah, especially when multiple kids need the same stuff.
Oh my gosh, right? Oh my goodness. That's just something we can hold over their head. Mom, can I
Yeah.
have my curfew extended? No, because remember the whole pack of folders you needed back in third grade.
Yep, you know it.
How about you, Ebony? What are some tips or strategies you have for those school
You know,
supplies?
I, I'm, so many years into this now, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't do any of it. I was like, I just can't. I am going through the wave of financial toxicity post cancer in terms of medical bills out the wazoo. Everything is higher, all these different things. And I'm like, you know what? My kids mainly use a computer at school. Why do I need all this stuff? And I was a teacher, and so I like to, everyone does the big wave in the beginning. And then by October, when you're out, it's like everyone forgot. And so I like to shower teachers throughout the year with little things. And I think that I kind of replenish. I do it when I can. And it's okay if you can't. And there are tons of giveaways, and schools have resources. I remember I just couldn't that first year. I'm like, I can't even get out of bed. How am I going to go back to school shopping? And I know there's Amazon and stuff in the schools. Like, we got it. You're okay. And even during the pandemic, they dropped off supplies, little baggies of like the manipulatives, and or I would go pick it up at the front door. And so I was like, you know what? I think that it's okay if we don't have so many things. You don't want to be that kid. So my kids now are more about what they're dressing like, the middle school stage. But I'm like, also, I had to get new clothes. They grew. They can no
Mhm.
longer fit anything. So I'm like, okay, I think we do have to go to the store. But it's like, I get everything on clearance. Like, I'm like, you're going to grow out of this. I do believe in good shoes because they can tear up any shoes. But we just go as we can. We don't need everything all at once. I was in uniforms. My son was in uniforms at one point. So I did kind of strategically do that, because to me, it's like, I plan. I'm like, the 5 outfits need to be ready in a basket for the week. So we're not going through what needs to be done. So if you can do it, if you can't do it, I think it's overwhelming. It's a lot of money. Reach out to your community if you do need help, or even if somebody just might want to help get an extra backpack. And so
Mhm.
I think that don't stress. When I looked at that list, I was like, I just can't do it. And I didn't feel guilty for the
Yeah.
first time. I did not feel guilty. The guilt and shame that mothers feel and parents about not being able to keep up and not doing this and not doing that. And I'm like, the teachers know, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this later, and communicate. I communicate with all my teachers. And I think that's the best thing that I can do as a human being.
Absolutely. And it's a very common theme we're all saying. It's okay. Like hashtag it's okay. It's in the long
Yeah.
haul of things, this is not that serious. And I think by them seeing that we're not stressed out about that kind of stuff, it makes it so that they're not stressed out about
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Jen, what are some of your strategies or tips or tricks for the back to school shopping?
Well, I don't like shopping in person, so we're an online shopping household because when you live with metastatic breast cancer, your energy is so limited, or if you're going through active treatment with an early stage. So I'm saving my energy for fun outings and not for having to go to the store. I don't even go grocery shopping. I get all my groceries delivered because that started in the pandemic, and I was like, this is convenient. So what I did was, like Ebony, I love clearance. Love
Mhm.
clearance. I shop like Children's Place, for the basics and stuff, and they got like coupons and things like that. Last month it was Prime Days on Amazon, and even though I try not to shop on Amazon for separate reasons, I had to. So I took advantage of the Prime Days, and I just, my kids are very like independent, both of them. So they just come with me with their little lists. And I'm just like, oh, just add it to the cart and I'll check it out and see what's going on. And they're both very into their own styles. And for the actual like school supply stuff, I just try to buy either in bulk or like if they both need pencils, if they both need folders, then I'm buying like the value packs of things and stuff. And then maybe like some cool little individual thing. And if they want like to have a special outing with like one of my best friends is Auntie Tammy, so my daughter looks forward to Auntie Tammy taking her shopping maybe for some new back to school stuff. And I think that it's okay to let your friends and family
Mhm.
help and stuff when you can't do it. Like, and if they want to pitch in or whatever. And for me, I felt very relieved to get all my back to school shopping done last month during the summer when there was like no pressure. And like I live in a small town. I would almost our hospital is considered rural, so there's like one Walmart. The nearest Costco and stuff is like 45 minutes away. There's like one grocery store, so I don't mess with that. There's too many people in this little place. I know, just
Hmm.
keep it online, and everybody likes it that way and stuff. And my husband also helps too, like, but again, and nobody likes to go shopping here. They like to do everything online. So that's been pretty convenient for me. And just looking for good deals and again, just asking for help and accepting help when it's being given. Cause I know that asking for help can be daunting for a lot of people. It was for me in the beginning, but 7 years now of this, I'm so glad to be here, but I feel like those are my tricks. Like, do something to your energy level. Like, if you just don't have it in you, don't do it. Like, they're not going to die without all the things. And
Yeah.
a lot of teachers are providing things for students that are like, we're a low income family, so we can't always, afford everything either. But this year I was glad to have extra help and be able to just have everything. So today went smooth with the back to school.
Good. And you
Hmm.
said it too. There's so many people that want to help. What can I do?
Mhm.
I do, give me a task, give me a directive, instead of, like I know from, oh, I'm fine. But in my head, I'm thinking I could really use XYZ, but you don't want to come up.
Mhm.
But it's okay to ask for help, especially if it's going to benefit your, through and
That's
through.
a good point too, because if people are asking for help and you can easily say, do you have an extra glue stick? Do you have an extra box of crayons?
Yeah.
And, that's a great way of even conjuring up some school supplies from people who truly do want to help.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and thrifting and repurposing. I have a big mama village, so we share clothes. Someone outgrows a jacket. Someone puts a hole. All my sons, double reinforced knees, all got holes in the knees.
Mhm.
And so, like, I have an aunt, that just I like all the shoes that my kids could imagine because and looking, basically almost brand new. So I'm like, yes, because I'm like, if they're going to use it a couple of times and it's either going to get ripped or they're going to outgrow it. So if we can repurpose things amongst our village, I think I love that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I know for me, like I've always been a type A person. This diagnosis has really helped me to dial it down. So now I'm kind of more of like a B minus.
Mhm.
But when it comes to
Mhm.
prepping and stuff like that, like the more I thought about it, I do my back to school shopping after the school, um,
Mhm.
after the school. I love, and I know it's called the clearance section, but I call it the dented food can aisle. You find so many cool things down there.
Yes.
Like, okay, crayons that were like $4. Oh, it's a quarter now. Okay, so we have a big bin downstairs. I keep the kids' supply list from like the previous years and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, I know this teacher's gonna want this. Okay, woohoo, check it off. But the whole point of trying to find where I put it, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But no, it's just been so lovely just talking with you ladies about this. And I have learned so much from each and every one of you. Definitely some really good takeaways. Any last items or closing statements that you guys would like to share with everyone?
I am a,
Oh,
oh, sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead, Ebony. All you.
Yeah. I'm a avid person of skip days. We have taken some wonderful skip days. I'm like, you know what? I get the letter from the school attendance. I'm like, you know what? It will be okay. So take some skip days because places are empty. And it's cheaper usually to travel when school is in. So go to that museum when it's not crowded. Or just stay home in bed and eat ice cream. But do some skip days. That is my big thing during the school year, because these are these moments, right? I have friends that their kids are going off to college, and I'm like, man, these are the moments. I want to be in the thick of it now, enjoying this time. So do some skip days is my advice.
It's a
Oh,
good
I
one.
like that. I like that.
My advice would be as school kind of ramps up, so do all the extracurricular activities, the sports, the dance, and everything. So I would say, I'm not a Google Calendar person, and I know a lot of families use that. I'm more of a list and cross off type person. But what I did find helpful was getting like an acrylic calendar that you can wipe off every month and put in a spot in the house that everybody can see. And what I did was I color coordinated all of my doctor's appointments with in one color. I was pink. And my daughter's dance was in purple, and my husband's work schedule was in blue, and all the kids' different activities was in various colors. So it was a rainbow chart of chaos, but it was controlled and everybody could see it. And my daughter knew her color was purple, and she knew what days, like she would point out, she couldn't read, but she would point to purple, and she would know from there what that she had something on that day. So involving everybody, and because all of their activities are still important to them, and seeing in a cohesive calendar makes their lives feel equally as important while you are going through your treatment. And plus, it also helps with managing carpools, because that's also another important point of with going back to school is having that tribe of parents that are able to help carpool your kids either to and from school or to their activities.
Oh, that's a great idea. I like that visual so everybody's locked in and, it helps take away maybe that anxiety that others are feeling too.
Yeah, it's right there for
Yeah,
everybody to see.
I like that. How about you, Jen? Any closing thoughts?
I want to piggyback off of what Ebony was saying with the skip days. My daughter and I were just talking about this yesterday about mental health days. She struggles with her mental health. So do I. So we talked about, balancing attendance and balancing mental health days. And I don't drive, so I walk with her, like to school. Well, now she lets me walk to the stop sign because, middle school. So, but I think mental health is so important here, keeping an eye on our kids. And I know for me, I don't like to put a lot of pressure on academics and stuff when there's so much stuff going on at home. I just would rather enjoy this time, kind of like what Ebony was saying. And just those little moments and stuff. And my other thought was, so I used to love volunteering in the classroom, and I used to like volunteer for all the field trips, and especially when she was in like preschool and kindergarten and first grade. And then by the time like third grade came, like I didn't have a lot of energy anymore. And so like I felt disappointed in myself. I was like, oh no, I'm not the mom that I wanted to be. That's a bunch of crap. you know, like I
Hmm.
got tired. And so I think that if you are the parent that wants to do all the things, remember you don't have to do all the things and you could just pick one thing. And so for me, I'm just going to pick one thing to be involved with this year and stuff and not stress myself out over it when I have so much else going on. And I think that we should just all, as moms, remember to make time for ourselves too during this busy school year. Really take care of our own mental health too.
Absolutely. It's important. It's okay to say no, not in like in a mean
Yes.
way, but it's okay to take a little time and like how you just said, Deb, just kind of prioritize. And you don't have to be super mom by doing a bunch of stuff. You can be super mom by doing that one thing really, really well. So I love that. I love this. This has been such a good conversation.
What do you want to say hi? The puppy is.
Oh,
He's
aw, we love
he's
the
done with
puppy.
it.
Aw.
Apollo, why don't you bring Apollo? They're actually, so middle schoolers, right? Everyone has their headphones. They get more online time. They're like, "Ooh, no homework." I was like, "Everyone, just be quiet."
Right?
It's easier in middle school.
They have to watch.
More screen time, yeah.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. Well, with everything that we talked about, if the viewers or even us, if we're interested in continuing these conversations, we definitely, if you haven't already done so, join LBBC's closed Facebook groups. They're private communities where you can connect with others, experience, ask questions. It's just there's so many different facets. There's so many different people that I've met through these groups that this they get. It's hard to find your people. It's hard to find your tribe. These groups are a great way to just enlarge your circle. Find people that have those like interests, like how we just did with our coffee talk and such. So make sure you guys go to Living Beyond Breast Cancer's Facebook page, find that fun little tab, the group tab, look underneath there, and you'll have a whole list of different ones. It's great. LBBC also has a breast cancer helpline, which is fantastic. Such a good resource for those. And also for more in-depth conversations and trusted breast care cancer information, go into that lbbc.org. It's amazing. I can scroll on that and just find different blogs, find like different items. It's the events are absolutely amazing. But thank you, lovely ladies. Thank you for all the viewers for just sharing your stories, your expertise to the community. We just really, really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that was watching as well. We'll definitely be sharing this feed as well. So it was a wonderful experience with each and every single one of you.
This has been
Thank
great.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me.
Yes. All
This is
right.
great.
Have fun back to school.
Happy back to school.
Bye.
Bye-bye.